Hello there, everyone. My name is Oversoul. This is Oversoul Gaming, and welcome back to Control. I know it's been a while, but we're finally getting back to the basics. Now let's go to Central Executive, because we can't quite get through the ashtray maze yet. We have other places to go first. Other things to do. Is it going to come up yet?
Good luck out there.
Darkness engulfed the elevator.
There it is.
There was something there, reaching for her, trying to make her act. It was a distress call. Faden sensed a drowning man, a hunger in the dark. Investigation sector.
Investigation sector, huh? We should check this out.
I agree, and we should also check out the the full version of that.
Darkness engulfed the elevator. There was something there. A presence. Jesse Faden could hear it. A call. It was faint, reaching for her from a dark place. Faden was sensitive to visitations. She had them all the time. From her guiding star and the previous director. She was the perfect receiver. As if she'd been made for this. Faden paused to feel it. The force at play here. It was changing things around her, subtle. Trying to make her act. Faden didn't like that. Her guide felt it too. Polaris didn't flare up in defense as with the hiss. So it wasn't all bad. Not a hostile transmission. It was powerful, but it was coming from far away. And made weak because of the distance. It was a distress call. Faden sensed a drowning man. A man desperate to escape. She sensed something else too. A hunger in the dark. Not unlike the hostile resonance. Waiting. She knew that desperate acts can have grim consequences. It was this, more than the man's despair, that made her follow the call. The elevator lights winked back on. The darkness receded like a memory. There was a new button on the elevator control panel. Investigation sector. Faden pressed the button. The elevator doors slid shut with practiced bravado.
Love it. We love it, don't we? Okay. Which means that's exactly what we're going to do. Because Alan wrote it, and so therefore it must be so. Welcome to the... We're taking a brief detour from the main story of Control now to do the Alan Wake DLC. It's the AWE. It's called the Altered World Event DLC, or Alan Wake Expansion. Either way, if you want to look at it. Oh, look. Darkness. That's pretty much par of the course for Alan Wake. Also, let me make sure that our current mission is set to this one, so that we know. Alright. Ooh. Light came on. As I said before, don't expect an ass load of closure in terms of Alan, the fate of Alan Wake in this. But we are gonna pick. There's gonna be. Oh god, there's gonna be so much interesting stuff. All right, missing agents. Let's see. These are agents that were confirmed missing from a containment breach.
A lot more crowded than the rest of the Bureau.
There are a lot of documents down here. Case inquiry. Here we go. Mr. Dennis, a request came through recently from an FBI agent asking for all of our files on Bright Falls, specifically on the disappearance of the author Alan Wake. Per the interagency information exchange agreement, I had some paper pushers gather up a folder of all the pre-approved files. Don't worry, all the inappropriate material is either missing or redacted. But I'm writing to let you know that we received this request from a special agent named Alex Casey. Sounds familiar, right? That's because Alex Casey is the name of the fictional detective in those hard-boiled crime books Alan Wake wrote. Pretty interesting that an FBI agent sharing the same name with the most famous character Wake wrote is looking into a case dealing with a writer's fiction coming true. I think this is worth looking into, but what's your opinion? Just give the word and I'll start surveillance on this guy. Alan Wake's typewriter is an object of power, and Alan Wake is a para-utilitarian, which means that anything that he writes with that typewriter comes to be reality. So it's pretty meta here, because as we go through this DLC and investigate what happened to him, he will be writing about it, you know, and it'll appear on as the hotline videos. Darling investigation. Per authorization from Mr. Kirkland, internal investigation, we launched into the ethical practices of Dr. Casper Darling, head of research. Despite the accounts of anonymous redacted regarding inhumane treatment of a redacted currently housed in the Bureau, our official findings regarding this were inconclusive. Numerous obstacles arose during the investigation. The majority of redacted sector personnel seemed to be wholly unaware of any such redacted contained there. One redacted confirmed the redacted's code name to be redacted, but all files pertaining to that name were inaccessible, being classified under the highest clearance level. Investigators were similarly blocked from entering the redacted research wing to interview its staff. The matter was further complicated by lack of clarity on whether non-human paranatural entities warrant humane treatment. Well, this investigation cannot address any charges against Dr. Darling. We do recommend an investigation into redacted research. Okay. Fair enough, thank you. Alright, there's this. You know, we want to keep stuff powered, but we might need to put that in a different spot later. Another document? Tractor supplement. Oh yeah. You guys remember the tractor that came to life in Alan Wake that was a boss battle that we had to fight it? Like, we had to get the darkness off of it. 33-year-old man found dead on his property per police report. Remains obtained for coroner's office. Also include body, urine, bile, blah, 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 blah. So, blunt force injuries, lacerations, dislocation, complete avulsion of the upper right extremity with associated fracture of the proximal right humerus. Let's see. Complete avulsion of multiple organs, including stomach, heart, liver, pancreas, kidneys, and portions of the large and small intestines, all missing. It is my opinion that Mr. Burroughs' death is not the result of a mechanical accident as claimed by authorities. The removal of organs is consistent with an animal attack. Yeah, almost like the tractor was possessed. Resignation letter. This is the resignation letter that William Kirkland wrote. That's all it is. He just got tired of how this place was being and treating people and so on and so forth, and he said, fuck it, I'm done. Okay. So yes, there's an increase in AWE cases, and yes, it would be a good idea to put together a special task force to examine exactly why that is. However, it seems that a tiny little detail has slipped through the cracks. We don't have the damn staff. If you expect us to detect, investigate, and process more AWE cases, you need to give us more people. It's simple math. Between the staff we lost in the Hartman thing and the ones who were left for other departments after Kirkland quit, we're barely managing to keep up with the workload. Hell, just filing the paperwork for all the altered items we left behind in the sector has been an ordeal. Another thing, and this is going to sound paradoxical, but we have an overcrowding situation. This lobby isn't meant to accommodate a whole sector's worth of staff. We put forward a motion to move investigations to a more suitable location months ago. It better not still be sitting on your desk. The people are getting restless, and as Kirkland's interim replacement, it's your job to handle it. So Dennis replaced Kirkland after Kirkland left. I see. Ugh, forgot I could do this. Alright. Gotta get the easy way in, right? More document. Underhill background. Dr. Rhea Underhill is a professor at the University of Woodrow in the United Kingdom, where she teaches biology with a focus on botany. Dr. Underhill once worked with the Bureau as a parabotanist stationed in the research sector of the oldest house. She served with no incidents or demerits and is praised by those who formerly worked with her, including Dr. Darling. Dr. Underhill has no connections to paracriminal organizations or any record of breaching her NDA since leaving the Bureau. Her civilian behavior has been ideal, with the exception of an ongoing personal relationship with Dr. Darling that appears to have begun during their time as co-workers in the research sector and revisited intermittently ever since, depending on the duration of her work in the oldest house. It may be required to have both parties sign a relationship clearance form. This investigation has found no compelling reason to deny Dr. Darling's request to offer Dr. Underhill an interim position with the aim of finding a solution to the mold threshold issue. Ah, that's right. So, that's right. Rhea, she worked for the Bureau, and then she didn't, and then she did again, and I forgot her and Dr. Darling had a thing. Trench, official warning. Kirkland. This was written by Trench when he was still the director of the Bureau to Kirkland before Kirkland retired. I am growing tired of your blatant attempts to lay your incompetence at my doorstep. I know you want this to be true, but you are head of investigations. This failure is your responsibility. What did you think would happen holding a dangerous specimen in investigations? The containment sector exists for a reason. They are better trained and better equipped for this type of work. In fact, they have admirably taken on certain AWE monitoring responsibilities that your staff are no longer capable of. This happens more and more now. And don't think your pretty internal investigations have gone past my notice. You are a worm. Everything I've done has been for the benefit of the Bureau. The prime candidate program only failed because of Darling. You are both failures plotting against me. You are traitors, but the truth will emerge out of you. You are choosing to become my enemy, Kirkland. You don't want to be. And this is why Trench hid the projector behind the ashtray maze, because he didn't trust anybody. Director investigation. Plus, they were directing him. Kirkland opened an investigation into the director himself. That's basically all that is. And something about dimensional research. Yeah, so the director was weird about what was going on here in investigations, what Kirkland was doing in investigations, which had a lot to do with the Alan Wake stuff. You might be wondering what this shit has to do with the Alan Wake stuff. Well, the thing that's...
It's not working.
Oh, right, I have to move the...
Probably a loose power core somewhere.
Yeah... Ah, that's right, I have to put it up here. Who needs stairs? But anyways, the thing that's down here in investigations is a result of them fucking around with the darkness that came from Alan Wake's Altered World event. Tractor procedures. This is the tractor. Item is not in Bureau custody, none known. A Frank elk tractor, olive green, dried blood on the grill when last seen. Item is capable of vocalized responses or growls and unmanned locomotion, considered highly aggressive and dangerous. The item first came to the Bureau's attention after the death of William Burrow, owner of Burrow Farm outside of Trenton, Texas. Local authorities arrived on scene after an employee found the mutilated body of Mr. Burrow beneath his tractor. Police arrived, but were immediately driven away by the tractor. Panic calls to federal authorities were intercepted by Bureau communications staff. A team was dispatched. Upon arrival, the agents approached the item. It responded by quote-unquote growling like a bear. 3 agents were injured when they tried to detain the item, which escaped. Aerial searches for the item are ongoing. Speaking to Mrs. Burrow only revealed that she had a domestic altercation with Mr. Burrow earlier the night of the incident. Whether these events are connected is currently unknown. Ooh, spooky. The Old Gods of Asgard album cover. I was 9 or something when I found my dad's Old Gods album. I became a huge fan instantly, said Jesse. Jesse's a fan of the Old Gods of Asgard. Well, how could you not be? Honestly. Ethics investigation. More bullshit. More political bullshit going on here in the Bureau. Kirkland was just opening investigations to everybody, and everything. I mean, I don't blame him. There was a lot of unethical shit going on, but still. I just frickin' broad-shouldered that debris. Come on.
Now that gate should open.
It will. I'm certain of it. In another document. There's a lot of shit to read here. Specimen escape assessment. Yeah. Looks like there was a specimen that escaped. There's a civilian named Alice. Now, Alice was Alan's wife, right? If I remember correctly from Alan Wake. So, what this is saying here is that Alice was here. Like, they brought Alice here to interrogate her, and as soon as they brought her here, a specimen escaped. A specimen which I think has something to do with the Altered World event from Alan Wake. They're saying that the two are kind of maybe related.
I'm no detective, but something definitely happened here.
Blessed organization. This group/individual has operated outside of the Bureau's notice for decades, perhaps longer, displaying a level of skill and caution rarely seen in paracriminal groups. A review of past cases has found various mentions of their activity over the years. In 2016, a production company called Blessed Pictures was connected to an altered item case, as well as the death of an agent from exposure to illicit paranatural materials. I think that... No, I have to look more into that. I don't know what... Okay. In 1994, a Los Angeles-based public speaker named Chester Bless was involved in the illegal use of an altered item. In 1988, a business called Blessed Repair and Service was suspected of involvement with an object of power case, perhaps even creating it. None of these businesses or individuals have ever been located. However, their connection to appearances of altered items and objects of power is too direct to be considered circumstantial. An arrest order has been issued for any persons believed to be involved with the Blessed organization. Interesting. Blessed Pictures, though, something about that sounds familiar. And I was wondering if that was maybe a connection to Quantum Break, but I don't think so. Alright, rule of 3.
Do we know each other? This feels familiar. I can't seem to... I've forgotten it. I'm sorry. My name is Alan Wake.
Trippy.
Who are you?
Mr. Scratch, isn't it?
Who are you? Do I know you?
I'm your friend Tom.
Oh, it's
Tom
Zane.
There's nothing to worry about.
Tom. The poet. The diver. You look different.
That was just a role. A character. The protagonist I played in my old film. I'm a filmmaker. An auteur like yourself. We're working on this together, remember? An artistic collaboration. You need a drink.
Night Springs. Oh, look, Dr. Darling. It's all connected.
Yep.
Endless darkness. Nothing holds still.
We're very close now. You've been writing. You found a way to escape. It'll work this time.
Writing?
You found a way!
No. I don't... Wait. There's something. It's my double. He's out there.
Mr. Scratch.
Yeah. Nothing to worry about. I'm dealing with it. It's fine, my friend. Let me handle him.
You've met him? What the hell?
Now, come on. You misunderstand me.
We just got to peek in at how our old friend Alan is doing. So what we can gather from that basically is obviously...
That was Alan Wake, the writer who went missing in that aWE case I read about.
Yep.
What's he doing here?
And from what we can gather...
Thomas Zane was with him. The poet. No, wait. He was a filmmaker. I always remember that wrong.
Or do you? Interesting. Yeah, things are a little different at the Ocean View Motel this time, huh? But anyways, what we can gather from that cutscene is that Alan is still trapped in the realm of darkness, if you want to put it in Kingdom Hearts terms. Alan is still trapped in the dark world. But remember, he's going layers deep. Now, if you remember the DLC for Alan Wake, the Signal and the Rider, he was trapped in the dark world at those points, but...
Dr. Emil Hartman, devoured by hungry darkness, became the thing that had been Hartman. Broke loose, killed everyone it could, lurking, roaming, waiting. Then something else came, a resonance. The thing that had been Hartman went through another change.
Okay. Because if you remember, Alan jumped into the lake at the end because, as we know now from this game, that lake in Alan Wake is actually a threshold, right? And before we get to watching this, I'm just going to finish explaining these things a little bit. So that lake is a threshold, right? And when he jumped in there, he basically went through a portal into the dark world. And during those DLCs, the Signal and the Rider, he just dove a layer deeper. Because remember, at the end of the game, he said it's not a lake, it's an ocean, right? So, so he's basically swimming through an ocean of darkness right now, still trapped in there. And Thomas Zane has taken it upon himself to try and help him and keep him updated, keep an eye on things. Remember, Alan was replaced by his shadow self in the real world. Mr. Scratch took his place in the real world. And Zane is keeping an eye on that to make sure everything's fine. So as it stands right now, yeah, Alan is still trapped in the darkness. He still hasn't gotten out. And the oldest house being a door to multiple dimensions allows us to get a peek into what's going on with him at the moment. But there's more to it. Now, you remember Dr. Hartman? You remember the lake house, or the cabin, not the cabin, but in Alan Wake there was a part where he woke up in basically a crazy house out there, because the old gods of Asgard were there too. And the doctor was talking to him like a therapist and stuff. Well, that very same doctor, Dr. Hartman, is now a monster. Listen to this.
Dr. Emil Hartman was desperate. The Federal Bureau of Control had stolen his life's work. This was his last chance, his final experiment. What he'd been too scared to do before. Hartman dove into the lake, was taken. Devoured by hungry darkness, became the thing that had been Hartman. Only an echo of him remained, fragmented impulses on autoplay, violent, bloodthirsty darkness in the driver's seat. Emerging from the lake, the thing was captured by the FBC, brought in, contained, studied. The thing broke loose, killed everyone it could. The FBC fell back and sealed the sector. The thing was alone in the dark, lurking, roaming, waiting. Then something else came. Not darkness, but similar enough. A sound. A resonance. It shouldn't be a surprise. If there's one, why not another? The darkness inside the thing could have been immune, could have resisted, fought, could have been passed by, passed through with no effect. But it didn't, and it wasn't. Maybe it had grown weaker over time, not aged. It was timeless, but weaker with no link to its source. A metamorphosis followed. The thing that had been Hartman went through another change.
Right, so basically Dr. Hartman, the very same doctor from the video game Alan Wake, from the Cauldron Lake Hospital or whatever it was, where they put him because they thought he was crazy. That doctor is now a monster roaming the investigation sector of the Bureau. And guess who's gonna have to take care of that? Yep. Can't get anywhere in here unless you... Oh, right, we have to move up. Oh, look, an astral spike. Don't we love them? Stupid fucks. We have very interesting places to go. Things to do. People to see, la-da-dee-loo. These doors will not open. They broke. Oh, look at that blood. Do you want to know what's in there? I'm sure somebody does. I hate to disappoint you, but we can't go inside there. That blood is definitely because somebody got smushed. Ugh. Alright. Heyo! Alright, this is where we're going. It's the only way we can go. We're not going to finish this whole Alan Wake DLC in one episode, by the way.
Creepy, damp, and abandoned. Why did Wake want me to come here?
For answers. He wants us to kill Hartman. That's what it is. Hartman is a problem, and oh look, things floating on their own. Just par the course around this bitch, I guess. If you guys will excuse me, I'm gonna check this bathroom for shit. I mean, not literally. Okay.
That doesn't look like a house shift.
It's not. This is definitely something else.
No.
Look at that weirdness. It's like everything just keeps cloning itself and floating into the nothing. And where the hell is it going after that? Oh, it just goes into the ground. I see. It just disappears into the floor. I'll claim this control point, thank you. Discerning the pattern is the trophy I just got. I don't know if those actually show up for you guys in internal recordings or if it pops up as a black bar or nothing at all. About to find out. Filing and processing. Oh, the hiss are down here too. Of course. What's up, guys? Yeah, you definitely gotta be a certain point of the story before you can even think about tackling this shit because... Oh, the Hartman arrest. We'll read that in a second. You're supposed to get a new gun in this DLC. I just can't remember when. Oh, he got fucking smushed with the... Oh, damn. vending machine, by the way, is what I killed that guy with. Foot gossip. We'll have to read both of those in a moment. How do I get in there? Oh. Enough tomfoolery.
Of course, the Hiss are already in here.
Well, why wouldn't they be? Oh, hey, a light. Might need that eventually. So why can't I get in here? There's clearly something in there I should be able to grab, but it won't let me go through, so... Alright, let me pick that light back up. Because trust me, we're gonna need it. You remember how in Alan Wake you have to use your flashlight to get the shadows off of things before you can then kill them with your gun? Well, I'm not saying we do exactly the same thing in this DLC, but we do have to do something very, very similar in order to deal with the darkness. That will be... See, there it is right there. You see how that door is covered in darkness in front of us? Hold on, let me put this down.
This darkness is blocking the door.
Yep,
So
oh, there was...
now I have to deal with an interdimensional noise and sentient shadows.
Exactly. And sentient shadows, which is what Alan had to deal with. Alright. So yeah. Same story as Alan Wake. Light destroys the darkness.
Way, huh? Makes sense.
Gonna go in here. Oh, it's just another light in here. Just in case you needed extra lights, I guess. Quite. Alright, don't know where I'm going. Ouch. Oh, up, right. Ooh. You don't look so good, pal. Up. Hey, I can go in here now because I'm immune to the mold. That's why we did the mold stuff before coming here, because we would not have been able to come in here otherwise. There would have been a lot of stuff here that we would have missed completely. There's a bunch of mold blobs in here that I'm going to take out while I'm in here too, because I think that's like part of a side quest that I really don't care that much about, but hey, no point in not doing it, right? I mean, no point in not doing it while we're here, is what I'm saying. Well, I think that's all of them. No, it's not. There we go. Not like it really matters that much. I just feel good about destroying those things. Okay, we can move on now. Forward we must go, forward we must go. Use the light to kill the dark, forward we must go. Oh, well, that's useless now. The fuck? That was Hartman's voice, and he's talking like a hiss. Did you notice, by the way, actually, I think it's worth noticing that the hiss, right? The hiss from this game and the Taken from Alan Wake, that's what the Shadow People were called, they have very similar dialect, don't they? As if to say that they both babble a bunch of nonsense in an almost ritualistic fashion. A side effect of the things they've been taken over by. Because the noise, the sentient noise that takes over the hiss, and the sentient darkness that takes over people and creates the Taken, they're both paranatural entities, right? Like they're basically sentient, omnipotent elements, more or less, beings, if you will. Oh, can't get that way. It's crazy, isn't it?
The third thing. The sound made darker, the darkness made louder. Hartman was stretched, like a worm through time. The third thing was a monster. Now he crashed out of darkness toward Phaeton.
Oh, good. That sounds like we're about to have a fun time. But let's get the full story on that, shall we?
The resonance carves its way through the thing that had been Hartman, vibrating, remolding. The sound changes the darkness, and the darkness changes the sound. They both changed what remained of Hartman. They all turned into something else. A third thing. The sound made darker. The darkness made louder. Hartman was stretched. Stretched as anyone when seen from out of time, like a worm through time. Almost an Ouroboros, a spiral, a maelstrom. The gravity well of a black hole, twisting inward, tightening, taking you deeper and deeper to the bottom, the heart, and through to the other side. The third thing said, when you hear this, you will know you're in new you. He said, we build you till nothing remains. He said, under the conceptual reality, behind this reality, you must want these ways to drag you away. He said, baby, 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 yeah, orange peel. The third thing was a monster. He'd tear apart any ordinary person crossing his path. Now he crashed out of darkness toward Phaeton. There was nothing ordinary about Phaeton.
Except for the fact that she came from the town of Ordinary, which, fun fact, by the way, the song Balance Slays the Demon by Old Gods of Asgard, which plays in Alan Wake American Nightmare. If you so happen to play that song backwards, you will hear a hidden message in it that says it will happen again in a town called Ordinary. And by it means an altered world event. And by Ordinary, it means the town that Jesse and Dylan grew up in, of course. And interrogation complaint. We have a few things we're going to have to read here in a minute. And here's an audio log here. But yeah, so obviously they planned on writing a story like this even back when Alan Wake American Nightmare was a thing. They planned on, Remedy was creating their connected universe of games. You know. They had it all planned ahead of time, more or less, is what I'm saying. Alright, so let's listen.
Day 6. Agent Fisher, day 6 inside the motel. Utilized surveillance methods are as follows. Fiber optic cameras slid under the individual room doors. Motion detectors in the lobby area. Tripwire, triggering a flash camera across the main entrance, even fingerprint powder on the front desk. Results are varying at best, but mostly just inconclusive and unusable. The footage is corrupted. Sometimes even the equipment is damaged. I don't know how, exactly. I think this place is making fun of me. That's the only explanation. I can hear them laughing and screaming behind the closed doors. I can hear the call bell go and ding multiple times a day, but when I look, there's no one there. I know I'm supposed to stay out of sight, but I've seen the doors closing just before I can catch even a glimpse of anyone or anything. They're messing with me, whoever they are. I think... Wait, shh. There's something. I gotta get this... Gotta get the cable out. Come on, you fiber optic fuck. Cooperate. Okay, there we go. All right, that was faint, but I definitely heard movement coming from the hallway. I think I might have finally caught one. Ha! The recording better work this time, or I swear to God I'll... What? Hello? Who's there? Oh, shit. I'm with the FBC. Move away from the door. I have a... Where's my... Inside the motel.
Well, and that was the end of that, wasn't it? All right, let's check some of these documents that we haven't read yet. Foot gossip. Hello, my feet gossip at night. Now I have to wear shoes to bed. Sincerely, me. Interrogation complaint. Kirkland. So you put me on desk duty just because I did the thing I was fucking hired to do, my job? Want to know what I call that? Bullshit. Asking us to interrogate these scum without using words like altered items or AWEs or paracriminal is the stupidest thing I've heard in my life, and I've heard some fucking stupid things. They already know the facts. Hell, they know just as much as us, if not more. And they get to sit there laughing at us while we dance around our words trying not to leak classified terminology. They already know the fucking terminology. If you think pulling me off the case will stop me, then think again. That piece of shit blew up those tracks. He killed those people, all to make fun of a train turned, all to make a train turn altered. We have him dead to rights, and you need to let me back in that interrogation cell so I can get him to flip on his buddies. These people are terrorists and deserve to be treated as such. This won't stop unless we stop them. You can go ahead and put me on suspension, see if that slows me down. Agent Hewitt. All right. And then research and records. Oops. Hartman arrest. Victims' names. Wake, Allen, Anderson Tor, Anderson Odin, the owl gods of Asgard, along with some other people. Let's see. Charges: kidnapping of altered individuals, sanctions against altered organizations, obstruction of bureau investigation, breaching the Ash Act. Offenders' property seized as evidence to be used in conjunction with an ongoing AWE investigation. Offenders' personal effects have been sent to research for analysis. After being cleared by Bureau researchers, all victims have been released. Biannual surveillance orders were assigned to each except the Anderson brothers due to their senility, and Wake, probably deceased. So that lodge where Dr. Hartman had Alan and the old gods of Asgard, where he was keeping them, right? He was keeping them prisoner because he suspected that they were para-utilitarians.
Darkness everywhere. Hey, plans in
Yeah.
here.
Another goofy side quest that I don't care that much about, to be honest.
Lighten them up.
Oh, shit. Finally got this place all lit up. All right. Wait, before we listen to this, okay. So one thing that I need to bring back up here is that last hotline video we watched by Alan. He basically said that Hartman's a monster now, but the result of which is a combination of the resonance, which creates the hiss, and the darkness, which creates the taken. So both of them have mixed together to create an ultimate monster in Hartman. And he's roaming the investigation section of the Bureau right now because he escaped. He escaped when Alan's wife, Alice, showed up for some reason, right? But Hartman, before becoming that monster, he showed up here, I think, fighting the Bureau. They arrested him, too, because of what he was doing in Bright Falls, keeping people held against their will in that cabin under the guise of being a psychiatrist, but in reality he was just kidnapping para-utilitarians. Crazy how this all comes to a head, right? But anyways, this recording here is from Hartman himself, so let's go ahead and listen to it.
My understanding of the darkness is fragmented, incomplete. This abyss, this void, it very much does not wish to be understood. If light symbolizes knowledge, then it stands to reason that darkness would equate to ignorance. By its very nature, it abhors comprehension. Of course, my own nature drives me to comprehend all. We are opposing forces, destined to collide. And given this conflict of natures, we know that the light of truth will burn away the darkness, both figuratively and literally. Any significant light source can be used as protection, even weaponry against this metaphysical gloom. And then there are the artists. I know for a fact that Tom, Wake, the Anderson brothers, and Lane all had some involvement with the darkness. The question is whether their uncanny ability to affect reality through their art beckons the darkness, or did their work perhaps even create it? With Wake now secure in my lodge, I expect I shall grow closer to learning the answers to these questions. Assuming he cooperates, which is proving quite the challenge. Well, perseverance is the foundation of knowledge. Speaking of, I must be off on my rounds.
So Hartman recorded that. Hartman recorded that at some point when he had Alan in custody back during the events of Alan Wake, and the Bureau, of course, got their hands on this recording. They needed to be able to. I think I'm gonna need to, I think I need this. Yep, in order to open that door that we need to go through. Uh-oh. Time to fight. I can float too. In fact, we all float down here. Okay. Pop, pop, pop. Hey-oh. Got him. Oh shit, I am getting shot the fuck. I should really pay more attention to my health. Kabangity boom boom schnabble. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, fear me. My turn. Got him. Alright. Y'all done? Fuck. That was fun. Let's claim this control point. Read the documents I picked up and then call it an episode for today, eh? Alright. Let's see here. Case files. Eagle Limited Summary. A train derailment resulting in 62 casualties and numerous injuries was suspected to have been the work of a paracriminal group known as Redacted. As a result of this event, the agents discovered that one of the cars had become altered with a persistent auditory event. It remains to be determined whether the AWE was spontaneous or the direct result of the sabotage. The Bureau had been tracking said group at the time, and the intel gathered suggested an event of this caliber was imminent in Bloomington. As a result, a response team on site was able to respond to the train accident site within minutes of its occurrence. They arrived to find emergency process underway, but also equipment left behind by the suspected group. A suspicious onlooker managed to elude agents after they attempted to make contact. Further investigation of the accident site revealed a curiously undamaged train car that exhibited an altered state when entered. This individual car was secured and transported to the investigation sector for further studies. So that's going to end up being a little side quest that we'll deal with later. Oh, by the way, Bloomington, Illinois. Illinois is the state I live in. So, it's not related to the Alan Wake stuff, but the investigation sector does open up, like, you know, Bright Falls wasn't the only thing they were investigating in the investigation sector, is what I'm saying. So we're gonna, even though the main focus on this is what's going on with Alan Wake right now and what happened to Dr. Hartman, and Alice and all them, even though that's the main focus of this DLC, there is going to be some other side stuff, like this train, for example, that is completely unrelated to all that, just different, like, altered world events. Just expanding this universe, that's all. Holy shit, there's too much of this. Black market. There's a black market where people are illegally selling altered items. That's basically what this is saying. And the Bureau's been looking into it. NASA cooperation review. NASA is basically working with the Bureau to help them with equipment and stuff, and you know, their research on the Black Rock that they've been doing and stuff like that. And then the Shadow. This one I'm going to read because it's talking about the darkness from Alan Wake. Paranatural entity, the Shadow, an aggressive redacted consisting of 3 known types. Type A, localized manifestations of sentient redacted capable of occupying organic, inorganic material as well as exerting redacted over its surroundings. Type B, shaded individuals, human bodies redacted by the Shadow. These individuals become notably more aggressive but do seem to retain redacted of their previous selves. Research is ongoing as to whether this condition is reversible. Type C, shaded objects, similar to Type B, except that inanimate objects are redacted solely to be used as destructive tools. Each type seems to work towards a shared goal, possibly targeting certain individuals, which may imply a shared link to a redacted intelligence. The threat this entity poses warrants immediate exploration of offensive-defensive measures. The investigation sector is being outfitted with additional lighting sources, some internally powered, to prepare for the eventuality of a redacted. So, yeah, they learned about the darkness. And those 3 types that they just mentioned are exactly the types that we remember seeing. Active investigations. Well, we're not going in there quite yet. There'll be a big fight once we do. That'll be in the next episode. But, yeah. Oh no, I don't want to clear the mold and stuff. Why? Get me back on my main... Bam, there we go. Yeah, we have a lot of stuff to do in this DLC yet. Not even close to done. This Alan Wake stuff is going to take a few episodes for sure. And then we'll get back to the main story. We're actually almost done with the main story of this game, but after the Alan Wake stuff, we have to finish the main story, and then after the credits roll, we're still not done. No, there's an entire DLC that takes place after the credits called The Foundation, and that will also take several episodes, so you guys better buckle up, because there is a lot more Control to come. Anyways, so... I hope you enjoyed this episode and this little peek into the fate of Alan Wake, but of course we're not done with that yet. We will continue it here in the next episode, coming very soon. But let me know your thoughts so far on some of the stuff that we've discovered, and the sudden revelation that Dr. Hartman was really just kidnapping para-utilitarians and stuff, and now he's a monster roaming the Bureau. Crazy shit, huh? So let me know what you think of all that in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave it a like, and as always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you possibly on another day, definitely at another time, and likely in another video. Okay, goodbye.